Welcome back to my channel everyone. So today I am going to discuss some important questions from control and coordination chapter. So the first question. What is the role of the brain in the reflex action? As you all know that reflex action is a quick response in which the brain does not take the action directly, right? It is controlled by the spinal cord. So brain has no control over this reflex action. Brain only receives the information and then the spinal cord takes over. Response occurs which is known as the reflex action. Next is, what is the function of the receptors in the body? Receptors are the things that detect any kind of changes or any kind of stimulus that is coming from the environment. Okay, and it receives the information and then it sends back to the nervous system so that we can take the action. Okay, so that is why receptors are important. So what problems we can face if the receptors are not working properly? Okay, if the receptors are not in working condition or working position, okay, so what will happen? Our body will not be able to detect or to respond any kind of the stimulus that can be in any form, that is heat, pain, light, sound. Okay, these are the forms of the stimulus. Our body will not be able to detect all those stimulus. Okay, and our body will have different kind of injuries and we will face lack of coordination. That means we will not be able to interact with the environment itself. Next question. Which part of the brain maintains the posture and the equilibrium of the body? So posture and the equilibrium of the body is maintained by the cerebellum. Okay. Next is, what is the function of the hindbrain? Hindbrain has cerebellum, medulla. Cerebellum controls the balance and the posture as we discussed in this question also. And medulla, it regulates the breathing and the heartbeat. Okay, rate of the heartbeat. Next is, in neuron, where does the information gets received? In the dendrite position, what happens? The information is received and then it is passed on to the axon as an impulse. Okay, so axon carries the impulse. Understood? Next question. What are the hormone that we call the emergency hormone? This total page is all about the adrenaline hormone. Okay, so it can come in many different form. The question can come in different languages. So first and simple one is, name the hormone which is secreted during the emergency. So you have to tell adrenaline. Adrenaline is also called emergency hormone because it is getting released during any kind of emergency condition. Emergency condition means flight, fight and fear. These are the three types of condition our body can face. Okay, in these three conditions adrenaline is getting released. From where it is getting released? From an endocrine gland called the adrenal gland. So from adrenal gland only adrenaline is being released. Okay, so what happens when the adrenaline is released? First, heartbeat is increased. Next, the breathing rate will also increase and blood supply to the muscles will occur. And after that, what will happen? Liver will also release more amount of glucose so that we can have a high amount of energy. Okay, and we can take the action. Okay, case-based question like this also can come, like immediate changes in the squirrel or a boy in a scary condition. You have to write same thing, same features is happening because adrenaline is getting secreted. Okay, and the boy or the squirrel can take action in any kind of scary situation because of the release of the adrenaline, which is causing increased amount of heartbeat, faster breathing, more blood to the muscles and also increased energy supply because of the release of the glucose from the liver cells. I hope you have understood. Next, name the plant hormones which is responsible for the elongation of the cells. Elongation of the cells and also for the growth of the plants. What is happening? Auxin is getting secreted. Okay. Next is growth of the stem. Growth of the stem means, suppose at first the stem is like this and then the breadth of the stem is increasing like this. This much of breadth it has increased. So why? Because of the release of the gibberellin hormone. Okay. Next question. How does chemical coordination occur in plants? Okay. Or the same question can come in different language. What are the plant hormones? Give two examples. Okay. So chemical coordination in the plants is happening because of the release of plant hormones. that can be of different types. One is auxin, next is gibberellin, cytokinin is also there, ethylene is there, so and also abscisic acid is also there. So these are the plant hormones which are taking over in the coordination of the plant body. Okay. Next is the definition I have given here. Plant hormones are the chemical substance produced by the plant that regulate the growth and the development, okay, of the plant body. Examples you can write as many as you want. These two I have given, auxin and gibberellin. Okay. Next, give an example of the plant hormone that promotes the growth, and how do auxin promote the growth of the tendril around a support. First of all, for the growth, which hormone is taking over? Auxin hormone. Okay, and what happens when a tendril touches the support? Whenever the tendril is touching the support, auxin moves towards the side away from the contact. Suppose this is the support and here it is the plant. Okay, like this. So here it is the point of contact between the plant and the support. So auxin will be released from the other side, like from here. From here the auxin will be released. This is the plant part, right? So from here the auxin is getting released. So what will happen? These auxin will act on these cells which are in contact to the support, and then the cells which are in contact with the support, they will start to elongate. Okay, and also cell division will occur, and because of that the tendril will bend and coil around the support. Okay. Next, why some patients of diabetes treated by giving injection of insulin? Why? Because their body is producing less amount of insulin. Their body is having insufficient amount of insulin. So that is why we have to give the insulin injection. Okay. So that we all know that insulin regulates the blood glucose level. So that is why they have to give the injection from outside so that their blood glucose level stays normal. Okay. Next question. Name two organs of the central nervous system. Organs can be brain and the spinal cord. Okay. Central nervous system is made up of brain and spinal cord, which plays a major role in sending the commands without thinking. That is, they are asking about the reflex action, right? Without thinking, whenever we are taking the action, that is reflex action. The organ involved is spinal cord. Okay. And I already told the phenomenon name is reflex action. Next question. What are electric impulses or how it is generated? Electric impulse means a signal, okay, that travels along the neuron. The dendrites receive the information as a stimulus from the outside. Actually, the receptors receive the stimulus and then it sends the information to the central nervous system. Dendrites receiving the signal, and then impulse is generated which is traveling to the axon, and then the motor neuron is taking the action. Okay. Next, how it is generated? It is generated due to the movement of the ions. Ions are moving. Which ions? Na plus and K plus. Okay. These two ions are moving through the nerve membrane and it changes the electrical charges, and this is how this impulse is getting generated. Okay. I hope you have understood. Next, number 12th question. List of the components of a reflex arc. So reflex arc has the receptor, then the sensory neuron. Next is relay neuron. Relay neuron, why it is important? Relay neuron connects the sensory neuron and the motor neuron. Okay. Receptor is receiving the stimulus from the outer side, then it is sending it to the sensory neuron, and relay neuron is transferring the signal to the motor neuron where we take the action, and the effector is the ultimate organ by which we are taking the action. So this is the pathway. Okay. Next is what happens if there is no relay neuron in the reflex arc. If there is no relay neuron, then what will happen? Obviously the information that is taken by the sensory neuron will not be transferred to the motor neuron, right? Because relay neuron is the connection between the sensory and the motor neuron. So if it is not working properly, then what will happen? The information will not be transferred to the motor neuron, and we cannot take the action. And we cannot take the action. Okay. Why have reflex arcs evolved in animals? Okay, reflex arcs have evolved to provide a quick automatic response. We need a quick automatic response because sometimes we face harmful stimulus. Suppose a person is beside the fire and he is feeling hot, so he or she has to remove his hand without thinking. So if he or she is not removing, that means if their reflex arc is not working properly, they can face like a dangerous situation. So that is why for the protection and for the survival of our body, okay, and of the species, different types of organisms, we need this reflex arc. Okay, what is reflex arc? Reflex arc is the pathway by which nerve impulses are being passed on during the reflex action. Okay, it is the pathway. Okay, from where it is like traveling. First is the stimulus, which is getting accepted by the receptor. Then receptor is passing the information to the sensory neuron. Sensory neuron is passing it again to the central nervous system. Central nervous system is carrying the information to the motor neuron. Motor neuron is carrying it to the effector, and then we are giving it the response. Okay, this happens within mini or microseconds. Okay, so I hope you have understood all these 14 questions. I hope it helps in your upcoming exam. Thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned.